Have you ever noticed how you sometimes self-sabotage incredible opportunities that come to you, people, situations, and you want to thrive in business, of course, like everybody else. And then what happens? You realize, wow, I had thousands of opportunities this year, and I only took a small part of them. Why? Because some of them you actually said no to unconsciously. You repelled those opportunities. Why? Because you didn't heal your inner child. And today we have an expert. Her name is Leonie, and she's going to talk about the power of healing your inner child and how that can lead towards attracting anything you desire and becoming a magnet for opportunities, for people, for situations, and for healing all those blockages that you may or may not be aware they are currently in your life and in your business. So Leonie, please tell us, how can we heal your inner child? And what results can we get from doing that?
Wow, that's a very big question and a very interesting question. Thank you, Lily. It's a major topic because healing the inner child. Look, the inner child is a part of us, a part of every human being. And first of all, as an answer to your how, the first thing we have to do is to acknowledge that it is there, and that inside of us is a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old that needs our attention, and that is hurted, that feels not seen, that wants things, and that holds us back from manifesting the things we want in life very often. Let me tell you a personal story. Many years ago, I was really in a bad state. Let me spare you the details, but I was really in a bad state. The word burnout back then wasn't as known as it is today, but let me tell you that I had a major one. And one day during a short sleep in the afternoon, I had this horrible dream, a really horrible dream. I dreamt that I was in front of a car, and inside of that car, there was my partner and my parents, and they were threatening to take away a child. And I could see it, and I didn't know that child. It was like, who's that child? But something inside me said, I need to take it. I need to take this child into my arms. And when I did, I grabbed the child. In my dream, this happened, and I held it in front of my face, and then I woke up screaming because this child looked like it was a horror child. If you have seen horror movies with like vampire kids, it looked horrible. And I looked it into the eyes and I said, oh my God, you're mine. I've abandoned you for years. I haven't even noticed you. I don't even remember that you're a part of me. And I woke up crying, and then I decided, okay, I need to do something. I need to start healing myself. And that was my first step towards, it was the first step into my spiritual journey and personal development. And the start of it was the call of my inner child. And since then, I embarked on a journey that has taken me through the inner child of 5 years old. I went back to the baby. I went back to the child who's 12 years old. I even went to my teenage child, like the one that is in puberty. They all got different names. It's the inner baby, the outer child, which is a teenager. And all these parts in us, if they are wounded, because we're talking about the wounded children, of course, because if your inner child is happy, it won't bother you, it won't disturb you in your adult life. But if it has been wounded, by means of upbringing, parents that were not available, if it missed a lot of love, attention, warmth, physical touch, if it missed all that, our children, our inner children, they get wounded. Doesn't always have to be from the parents. It can be from teachers, from things that happened at school. But if we don't take all these wounded parts in our healing journey, then always they will keep on knocking on the door and saying, hello, take me with you, because I want to be happy as well. It's all those parts of us, soul parts, I call them as well, that are wanting to be seen and to be taken so that we as a person can become whole. And once we start feeling whole, something changes in our energy. We become whole as our own parent. We start to feel, and if we start feeling and tuning into the inner child, what is needed in the healing process is that you, as a woman, as a man, start to be the parent to that child. As long as you don't do that, you will keep on seeking attention in the outside world. For example, you will be in a pattern of pleasing, always pleasing others, always giving to others, never giving to yourself, looking for acknowledgement in others, being like a perfectionist. Everything has to be perfect all the time. And all these patterns relate back to these parts in us, the inner parts that are not nourished. And once we start nourishing, we become our own mother, our own father. And this is where also the inner mother comes in, which is a topic that I talk a lot about. And the inner mother is actually that part in us that has seen all those wounded parts and says, I'm here for you. And once we can say that, we start having a sense of safety in this world, of tremendous love, tremendous opening of the heart to the world. And is exactly that state in which we become totally available for our mission, our purpose, and to receive all the abundance that life has for us. And we started with the inner child, and the inner child, the inner teenager, all those parts of us. In the end, it's like a long process, a road towards feeling our own mother, our own nourisher, our own friend, lover, provider, whatever. But it's not only the outside, it's really a feeling. It's like embodying self-love, embodying your power, embodying your ability to manifest, being able to say no to an inner child that says, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, saying no, but with love. Like it has to do a lot with being able to set the right boundaries for others, but also for yourself. It has to do with forgiveness, being able to really hold space for healthy relationships. Because if you still have wounded parts, wounded child, that will always go running after the partner. Look, please love me. Please do that for me. And yeah, there's so much more to tell.
Thank you. And so how is the inner child kind of connected with the inner mother? And like how can we leverage this for ourselves? How can we master our inner child or our inner mother in a way that we are not any longer, let's say, clingy and needy and people pleasing and all the different undesirable traits that we have as a result of not having, you can say, mastered our inner child? How can we go to this level where we are in balance, maybe? I'm not sure if that's the right word, in balance with our inner child or our inner mother, so we can be attractors, so we can become super attractors for everything that the universe has for us?
The first thing is, and this is really the most difficult, but also most beautiful phase, is the first one, and that's starting to see where your inner child takes the wheel of your car and bumps into trees. First, seeing it, acknowledging it, that it is there, acknowledging that you have wounds, acknowledging that maybe your parents weren't as perfect as you thought they were. All this is said without judgment. Let me be clear about that. And what might help with this is, of course, to have somebody next to you, like a coach or a therapist, or somebody who can point at you, like look, there you are. Your behavior, I feel and see that there's an inner child that is behaving, and not you as an adult. So seeing these parts in you. And another thing that might help a lot is journaling, like really writing down every day, trying to see from a different level, okay, what have I been doing today? Trying to see patterns also, for example, in your relationship with your intimate partners, repetitive things that happen. To give you an example, if you talk a lot with words like always and never, then chances are quite big that your inner child is talking, in the sense of, I'm always wrong, I never can do things right. Okay, let me start from that. And because it's always never black, white, an inner child hasn't got the ability yet to think and feel and act as an adult. It's black and white. And when you as an adult notice in yourself that you're using these terms, or in your inner dialogue, then you can say, okay, I think my 6-year-old is talking now. Because an adult won't say I'm always wrong. An adult will say, I'm a human being. I can see your point. I can see my point. Let's find a solution together.
And what other techniques can we use so we can actually heal your inner child, heal our inner child or our inner mother? What techniques can we use? Okay, so journaling is one thing. What other things can we do? So for example, for me, I still have trouble with boundaries. I am trying to get better, but really, let's be honest, I still suck at boundaries. And I'm still a people pleaser for the most part. I still am. And I'm still relatively clingy. So how would you heal that?
Thank you for sharing. That's very brave.
So how would you heal that for someone who had those kind of traits?
Again, very, very good that you can name it and that you can be open with it. That's a very important step, Lily. So you did the biggest step just now already. You know this. And the thing is now to really see when and where it happens. And when it happens, you call in your inner mother and you ask her, okay, how would my ideal mother, not the one that I know, how would she put a boundary? And there are some physical exercises to do that you can practice yourself with boundaries, because the whole process, we can't do it through the mind. It needs a lot of body exercises, embodiment, because through the body, we can give messages to our brains. So for inner child work and this whole process of healing the inner mother, I'm not in favor of only talk, like talking therapy. It really needs, and especially if you're working with the inner baby that have no words, it really needs body work in relation with others, maybe in a group. That's what I do in my coachings and seminars, but really body work. And with boundaries, we work with our hearts, with our hands, like really feeling into it. What does it do if I do that? What does it do when I open up this? And feeling into your body the whole time. What happens in my body when I put a boundary? Suppose that somebody is in front of me, because we do this exercise with for example, one-on-one. Well, how does it feel if I put a boundary? I remember that the first time, because I've done the whole process myself, the first time that my coach invited me to lie on a bed and welcome the universe, to say, I'm here, just come close to me. I freaked out. I couldn't do it. I was so scared of letting somebody close, which had to do with my very old wounds of having somebody very close to me. It was scary. It was not safe. And while doing this exercise as an adult, I could feel the fear. I could feel the panic. I felt my heart go like duk, 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 duk. And being present with that, it's doing this kind of exercises, it teaches you how to be present with that kind of emotions and not act upon it. And gradually, I learned to receive, put a boundary, receive, say yes, no, and these usually they are very simple but really profound exercises with a major impact, not only on the mind, because with my thinking, and I also notice it in my clients, with my thinking, we how to say it, we give illusions to ourselves. Anyway, I can't find the right expression. But with the help of the physical, really the body touch, the body exercises, the very small movements, something changes inside your energy, inside your heart. So I suggest to you to start the journey, and let's see where you end up, and invite the body exercises, invite every healing that you can find. For example, also, let me think. You said boundaries, and you said
clingy, and what was it? Clingy, boundaries, and there was a third one that I can't remember now.
For clinging, you need to see what is behind that, because clinging is the behavior, and behind that, I don't know if that's the case with you, it's very often the fear of abandonment. Stay here. The fear that somebody will go away, and from this fear, you will start doing anything to prevent that person will go away. But all these things that you will do are not necessarily good for you. And then you need to go into that fear of abandonment. What happened? Where you can work with a child of that age, which had, I don't know, something happened in your family, or everybody has an history, and really see it, acknowledge it, that it's there. And once you start acknowledging it, you're like, okay, here we go again. And slowly but gradually, if you start accepting, healing, looking into it, one day you will feel still a little bit of that fear, but the adult in you can say, it's okay, baby, I'm here for you.
And I already attended one of your Writing for Consciousness previews, and I had the impression that it was a very powerful sensation for those that were, that were participating actively in the exercise. And it was still very impactful for those of us watching. And I'm just wondering whether for those wanting to work on themselves without your help, is there anything at all that they can do to really further themselves into this area of healing their inner child and healing their inner mother? Or they kind of have to have this kind of professional support that you offer? Otherwise, they won't really be able to have that massive transformation that you deliver during your workshops?
I can give you an answer to that from my experience. Look, there's like heaps of things to find around healing your inner child, healing the mother wound. There's like loads of books written about it. You can find videos on YouTube, and on your own, you can start meditations, listening to meditations, reading books. I did that in my first years to really grab, okay, what is this? And while reading, I felt like, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. So that's a very big step in towards acknowledging that you feel these things that you haven't been able to express, because once you find words for it in the books that you read, it's easier to say, oh yeah, I relate to this and this and this. And then it depends how fast you want to do the healing process. On your own, you can also do some body exercises. You can do energetic exercises. But in my experience, especially the inner baby and the early years of our childhood, it is so important to work with somebody, because most of our problems that we have as an adult are in relation with others. And with my own coach, I learned how to feel safe with her, and afterwards being able to practice that in the outside world. Feeling safe with her, feeling seen, whatever I felt, even if when I was angry or when I was sad, or she was there. And this is hugely important to feel that, to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel touched, to feel that, okay, if I am completely myself, if I refrain from pleasing, if I'm even showing my most ugly side to her, she's still there. Wow. And that's the essence of love, of a loving relationship with your partner, with whomever, that not only that you feel safe to express yourself, whether they feel whether they can do it or not is not important, but you in the end can do it for yourself, because what you've learned through the process with your coach, with your therapist, you can also afterwards you apply it to yourself, because she or he gave you the example, like, I'm here, you can be your full authentic self, I won't go away. And especially for somebody that has this like clinging, like has a fear of abandonment, and I relate to that. I come from that. It's yeah. I can't emphasize it enough. It's hugely important to feel that somebody is there.
Thank you so much.
If you take it to a higher level, this also changes the way you can be as a human being here on Earth, because the universe is also like a big mother that holds you. So in the end, you feel safe to also receive from the universe, which is the big mother.
Thank you so much for this amazing topic of healing your inner child. For those of you wanting to connect with Leonie, all you have to do is look underneath this video. You should be able to see Leonie's links. Feel free to contact her. because she has amazing transformational workshops around healing your inner child and healing your inner mother.